So our course listing page is ready for our Stripe integration so that we can have users pay for courses. Let's jump in. So here is my developer Stripe account just for testing stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new sandbox for this. Okay. Here are other sandboxes I've created for other courses. I'm going to create a sandbox. I'm going to call this compass. And I'm going to leave this default selection. So we can pause here with Stripe. We are going to need our secret key in a second, but I will come back and grab the key when Radian says I need it. Okay, so I'm going to just clear this chat and I'm going to go to the to-dos and let's have a look. So we've done the course details page. Perfect. And I'm going to move this guy to the top. We can run it in any order. I just like to think top to bottom. So implement backend workflows for Stripe integration. Okay, great. Let me just show you where the backend workflows are. This is where they live. And backend workflows are basically like server cloud functions. They run on the server in the background, not client side, but server side. So they're super safe and secure, and they are really fast. And this is where we create all of our API integrations for payments and email and LLM calls, etc. Okay. So implement backend workflows for Stripe integration. We need a checkout session, and a checkout session takes a course ID and a, well, it doesn't actually need a lesson ID. So I'm going to change this. Course ID and user ID. So we want to be able to take payments uh, for a user to purchase a course. So we need a course and a user to send to Stripe. Great. And then we need a Stripe webhook handler. Now, because we are creating a Stripe checkout session, this is a Stripe hosted page, independent. So we're sending them to Stripe that has beautiful UX and is hosted by Stripe, so it's really safe. So we want to do this. This is great. And we can brand this page according to Compass as well. So users actually won't know the difference here. But it's a Stripe hosted page. When a successful payment happens, that happens on Stripe. How do we know that a successful payment has happened? Well, we need Stripe to send us what are called events. And we're going to be using a webhook handler to receive these events so we know whether a purchase was successful. And if it was, we have to provision access to the course in Radian. Okay, so the key wording here is checkout session. We don't just say a Stripe integration, we have a checkout session. Now it's talking about a purchases table, which we already have. And there is a status column. And when a purchase is successful, the status will be completed. And that's how we'll know within our app and our logic that a user can watch the lessons. Let's try it. Well, before we do that, guys, let's create a new checkpoint. It's a Stripe integration. It took around a minute and it said that it created both of these backend workflows. And next step is to add the Stripe secret key and the Stripe webhook secret. And we've got further instructions here. Let's first of all grab our Stripe secret key. Here it is here, SK test. I'm in a sandbox, so this is a test key. And I'm going to click this button to enter in the value. I'm just going to add them to both sections. We will come back and change this to a production value later on. And a Stripe webhook secret. I don't have at the moment, but we need to come back and set up webhooks in a separate lesson. Go to mark this as complete, and I'm going to go to the back end to review these workflows. Great. So here they are here. So create checkout session. This workflow creates a Stripe checkout session for purchasing an online course or a single lesson. Okay, well, the single lesson one isn't quite right, but that's okay. Now I can click on each one of these. I can see that it's actually added the lesson ID again when I asked it not to. That's okay. Let me just close this. And if you want to dig into this a bit more, guys, feel free to go ahead. I have clicked on this node and it's added it as context to this chat. So we can change anything we like here if we understand this a little bit more. So I can basically say in this instance, we can add or remove values here if we like, or we can have it function slightly differently. Okay, so I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to say remove the need to, or should I rather say lesson ID is not required. Amend the workflow to remove it. We only need course ID and user ID. Now, while that is working, we do have a code viewer as well. So if you have a bit of experience with code, you can dig through. We've got explain buttons as well. And basically, you can update this however you like, okay? The majority of you will probably be using the node viewer here. So as you can see that it removed the lesson logic and we don't have any more. Let's just check these other nodes. Yeah, we're all good. Great. Okay, and then for our Stripe webhook, here it is here. And this requires a Stripe signature, which we need to go ahead and do in the next lesson before we test this. Okay, I hope that was fairly clear, and I'll see you in the next lesson for webhooks.